What's up, everyone? We're going to start this video with a fun little game. There's 8 racers on the screen. They ran the 2200 meter Queen Elizabeth Cup. So the game will be, of the 8 racers, 5 of them positioned in the top 5. So your job is to figure out which one's positioned in the top 5. You can pause the video or whatever and look at their stats and figure out what's what. The position they ran in, or their style, I guess I should say, is circled, so you know which skills they are capable of using and stuff like that. All right, so while we're talking about some wit and stuff, I'm gonna let the race go off in the background so you know your eyes don't get bored. But the biggest thing in global meta right now for this game is, for some reason, people are super stacking wit. You can see based on the table on the screen that wit is actually a very, very bad stat to stack because it has significant diminishing returns. So from 200 to 400, you get 22.5% increased skill proc chance, which is a lot, right? So if you look at the, like I said, if you look at the table, from 2 to 250, it's 9% and then 6%. I mean, you can already see after 250 300, your return on 50 wit is going down 3%. And then it goes to 4.29, 3.21, 2.5, etc., etc. So the amount of increased skill proc chance, for the amount of turns and stuff you're investing into wit, is significantly reduced. After 400 wit, it really like falls off. And then even up to 600 is like okay. If you don't need other stats, you could even push it up to 600 and that would still be okay. But realistically, if you're pushing wit that high, that means you're running wit support cards. And if you're running wit support cards, it means you're not running stamina or power support cards. And most people don't run with enough, I guess stamina really is what it is. They need, the amount of stamina you need in PvP is significantly higher than what you need in career, because in career you get extra bonus stats that the game doesn't tell you about for whatever reason. So people kind of get the wrong impression on how much stamina they need. And the whole reason why this game existed for this video is because it'll show you that people do not have enough stamina. Because the people that you think will win this race based off their stat blocks don't do well. So Silent Suzuka wins. And I feel like majority of the player base is not going to pick that Super Creek to actually do well in this race. But that Super Creek was mine, and she came in 3rd. So ha. Well, yeah, there you go. Here's the top 5. Super Creek, Maruzensky. I didn't pay attention to the race to see what happened to this Maruzensky, but I definitely would think this should have beat my Silent Suzuka. My only guess is that Swinging Maestro didn't proc, so he died. That's my guess. Because he's running front. Gourmand can't proc. This is Pace Chaser only. I'm guessing he didn't get Swinging Maestro. I wasn't paying attention. I'm not going to go back and watch. But, yeah, that's the thing. People might have thought that some of the really high-speed people would have won, but they didn't, because they died. They completely ran out of stamina and died horribly. Before we talk about team trials, like point scoring, I guess I should cover the last like few things that Wits does. Besides skill activation, it prevents you from rushing, or doesn't prevent, but it lowers the chance of you rushing, which is a point deduction in team trials and is bad for your girl stamina. The issue with using wit to reduce rushing is that it does not scale linearly. The more you get of it, the less effective it is, just like wit's ability to activate skills. So stacking it is not very beneficial at preventing rushing. And the other two things is when a Uma is running downhill, the higher their wit, the more likely they are to take advantage of the downhill, and it'll make them run faster. This actually can be pretty good depending on the race, but it's not something you could plan for in team trials. So like 99% of the time, you know, it's not going to do anything for you. In Champions Meet, you could try to play around this. You're not saying you could necessarily for the wit and stuff like that, but like when you have downhills and uphills in Champions Meet, you will make builds and stuff around that. But in team trials, it's way too inconsistent and doesn't matter, and it's not a very significant thing to scale wit for anyway. And then the last one is through the race, your character randomly speeds up and slows down, but by like super small margins, and that's determined by wit. It's not it's not even something like to think about or worry about in the slightest, because the difference between high and low wit here is so small, and it happens so frequently. It happens 32 or 24 times, sorry, through a race where your character will re-roll their target speed, and again, that scales off wit, but it doesn't matter. It's not worth scaling wit for. All right, so what we learned from the previous section was that people don't stat their characters like good enough, I guess, for PvP, and also that stacking wit is bad. So the difference between 400 wit and 1200 wit is a 15% increase in skill activation, which is not very much. If you think about it as you'll activate 15% more skills on average, this is just the easier way to think about this. Let's say you'll activate, like I said, 15% or 1.5 rare skills on average, which ends up being 1800. And then you could say, well, maybe I'd activate my unique when with 400 wit I just got unlucky and didn't happen to do it. And that can be worth some amount of points, but that's only going to be worth, again, 15% on average, because you only will activate it 15% more often on average. One thing to think about with that, though, is making sure your character meets their requirements to activate their unique. It doesn't matter how much wit you have. If they don't meet the requirements, they don't ever activate their unique, period. This Baksheen won the sprinters race, and she never used her unique. She never used her unique, though, because she was actually never challenged. So one of Baksheen's, where is she? One of Baksheen's requirements for her unique going off, all right, is that must be engaged in a challenge toward the front in the second half of the race. She's a front runner, and she led the whole race without anybody getting close enough. There were people like not super far away, but no one ever actually challenged her. She ran by herself the whole time. I believe she got a good start as well. So she got a good start and then just was alone in the front forever. No, she did not get a good start. Oh yeah, she did. Strong start. So she got a strong start, and then no one challenged her literally the whole race. She just ran by herself. So she didn't activate her unique because the requirements for her unique never were fulfilled. So she just didn't do it. So in situations like this, it doesn't matter how much wit you have. You just aren't going to get the points if the race just doesn't allow you to. But let's take a look at Mrs. Oguri here. Or Oguri, I always butcher her name. So she won, right? So she got 10,000 points. She won by a nose. This is worth a lot of points if the race is really close, or it's worth a lot of points if the race is a blowout. So winning by a nose, which is the smallest margin that you can win by, is worth 5,000 points. Winning by distance is worth 3,000 points. So that's like the top end of each side. But then winning by like a length, which is like a pretty normal win distance, I think it's worth like 1,000 or something. I'll have a chart on the screen. I don't have it in front of me. She activated her unique. She's 3 stars. I don't have her like upgraded at all, so it's 2400. 2 rares, which are 1200 each, and then 6 regular skills, which is 500 each for 3000. And she had good positioning mid-race. We got 1000 points for that as well. The biggest thing here is she won, so that's 10,000 points. Second place is 8,000, so the step up from second to first is a lot of points. And we also had all of my members place, so you run 3 people against 3 of your enemies, and you need your 3 to place top 5. So in other words, your 3 just need to be better than their weakest, and then you get this bonus. And this is worth more than 1 rare skill activation per character, right? You divide this by 3, it's 1,333 and a third. So a rare skill is 1200, so this is worth more than a rare skill activation. El Condor, she shares the pace with Ogre, so yeah, we didn't do much here. And then Urara, my Urara is not good. She's very weak, but she still managed to place 5th, so we still got the everyone placing bonus, which is awesome. She also didn't pop her unique. Her unique can be kind of weird to proc, so I don't know if she just got unlucky or didn't fulfill the requirements. Who knows? And then we'll go to Taiki, and we'll see. Right, we get to a more normal win length, and it's only 1,800 points. I mean, 3 is still, you know, it's pretty good. It's definitely better than 1 length or whatever, or 1.5, or it's still a pretty good margin. So the point amount that you won by is going up, because like I said, distance, which is greater than 10 lengths, is 3,000 points. And then we get into this, beat target time. So this is one of the advantages of just having like well-statted, very strong runners, is each course has like a predetermined target time that the runner should be running in. And if you beat the target time, you get 100 points per 1/10 of a second. So because this is 1.1 seconds, she gets 1,100 points just for running in the race and doing it quickly. So this can be worth up to 2,000 points if you beat it by 2 seconds. Anything higher than 2 seconds, you don't get any extra points. But so just having a fast girl that runs the race and does well, I mean, you get a bunch of extra points for that. Activated her rare, some rares, and some skills. She didn't proc her unique. Her unique also has some weird specific requirements that sometimes it won't go off. So I don't know if that's what happened or she got unlucky. Vodka, position second, also got the beat target time. So, you know, here's another 600 points. Had a strong start, activated her unique, activated a rare, activated 3 regulars, and a good positioning. Scarlet, 4th place, so 6,000 points. So this was second, right? So this was 8,000? Yeah. So 6,000, because the other guy got 3rd. Beat this. Daiwa also beat the target time, so more points on that. Unique, skill, no rares, and then good positioning. So like the biggest part of team trial skill point, you know, earning skills, is having good position, making sure all of your characters place, and then if they're fast, you get points for that. If they win by a lot, you get points for that. If they don't win by a lot, if it's a super close race, then you get a lot of points. Like skills don't actually count for that many points. The best way to actually get more points from skills is just to have more skills. And you get more skills not from like spam training wit, although wit does give a decent amount of skills. It's making sure you have 35% race bonus from your support cards, because there's a break point at 34%. And then just doing races, right? Because you get a lot of skill points from doing races. You also get some stats too on top of it, which is good. And then you get a chance to get sparks from winning G1 races. So doing G1 races, winning them, etc., etc., you get skill points, you get potential sparks. Like, that's definitely the best way to get skill points. get more skills, to win races, you know. The point is, hey, stop stacking will, please. It's so bad. You're not doing yourself any favors. There's no real reason to stack will to make it work out for you. People could tell you to stack will either because they're like misinformed, which is fine, or they're like they're actually just devious and they just want the community to be stacking will so that they can beat them easily in team trials and get a bunch of points off them or something. Like, I don't think people are actually doing that, but it's like, I wonder if people are doing that. Again, I don't think they are, but it's pretty funny to think about. But yeah, that'll be it for this. So I hope everyone just takes away from this. Stop running wit support cards unless your support cards are crazy. You know, max link all SSR support deck, then maybe you can run some wit cards. But for mass majority of players who haven't dropped the big bucks, you're not gonna have decks like that. So running wit cards is pretty rough. But yeah, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you learned some stuff from this video, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.